Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be Stop Smothering Me. I got a short email here from a reader, or a viewer I should say. And he says, "Hey dude, what do I do when my girlfriend tells me to stop smothering her? What exactly defines smothering? Anyways, I need your help, stat. Thanks a million." So when a woman tells you to stop smothering her, it means that you're coming off as being needy, clingy, you're chasing her, and this is really important. I wrote an article a while back called "Women Want to Feel Safe and Comfortable." And so what's basically happening is you're chasing her too much, you're pursuing her too much to the point where she feels uncomfortable around you because you're starting to exhibit behavior that a stalker or a needy guy or the kind of guy that turns into an abusive boyfriend would exhibit. And this scares women because women obviously physically are smaller and weaker most of the time than men are, and so they have to be very cautious that they don't get themselves into situations where guys try to force themselves upon them or try to force them to do things that they're just simply not ready to do yet. And so what's happening is, like, I talk about this a lot. I linked to an article or a study that I found a year or so ago that concluded, it was a scientific study, and they did a lot of interviews, talked to a lot of women. It was done by, I forget what the university was, but if you go to Google and Google Corey Wayne, I'm trying to think, women are more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear. That's the name of the actual article. And that links to the study. And so the thing is that it's not that you play games with women or you ignore them, but you've got to give them a chance to contemplate about you, to contemplate how they feel about you, to think how they feel about you, to spend time with their girlfriends, to wonder what you're up to wonder what you're doing, to wonder, I wonder why I haven't heard from yet. You've got to give them this space, and most men follow the kinds of things that they see in TV and the movies, which is you just constantly chase women, you bombard them with texts and messages and phone calls, and you try to get them to go out with you every single day. I mean, that's to the extreme in some cases, but that's in essence what happens. Because like what I talk about in my book and what I learned years ago, the best approach to start out with is to go out with a woman once a week, to ask her out once a week, and stick to that, and not be texting her the day after you go out on a date, telling her, "Oh, I had a great time, I can't wait to see you again," because those are the types of things that a woman does. And so when you do those things yourself as a man, you're basically acting like a woman. And so what happens is you're not giving her any space to wonder about you. It's not so much playing games with her, but it's showing up in a measured way, in a measured approach, because the idea is that most guys, they project their interest onto the person that they like. They project their feelings, strong feelings of attraction onto a woman that they want, and they completely ignore and they don't look for any sign to see that she's reciprocating. They just automatically assume she feels the same way. And so what happens is the days and weeks go by, the guy gets more obsessed and more into the girl, and she gets more and more turned off because she has to do nothing. She doesn't have to pursue him, she doesn't have to call him or nothing, because he's constantly bombarding her with texts and messages. And like I talk about in my book, the ideal balance, the ideal situation is if you do everything right and you treat women great and they have a great time on a date with you, they will reward you for your great behavior by reaching out to you more, by saying things like, "Hey, I miss you," or "Hey, I was thinking about you," or "Hey, I was telling my girlfriends about you the other day and what a great date you were, and how different you are from all of the guys that I normally meet." Those are the kinds of things that women say as a reward for the fact that you treated them great and they had a great time and you made them feel safe and comfortable. So 70 to 80% of the pursuing, calling, and texting will be initiated by women. All the women I've ever had great relationships with, they all do this. And it usually takes about 2 to 3 weeks in the relationship. Usually, say you're going out with them once a week. Usually by the second or third week, your second or third date, you guys have slept together at that point. And obviously because she feels very comfortable, she'll reach out to you the next day and tell you what a great time it was, or how passionate it was, or what they loved about it. And you just simply take those opportunities, and when they reach out to you, just to simply arrange the next date, the next romantic opportunity for sex to happen, as I like to describe it, because that's the whole point of going on a date, is to have fun together, and ultimately it ends up in the bedroom. And so you have to look at and be objective about how much you're reaching out to the girl. And in your particular case, she said stop smothering her. It means you're all over her. Another thing I talk about a lot in the book is hanging back enough, like when you're on a date, as you're walking down the street, or you're sitting at the table together, when a girl likes you, she reaches over and she touches your arm all the time. Or if you're walking, she bumps into you when you guys are walking. She stands too close. Like if you go and you grab her hand, sometimes a woman will pull her hand away. And guys that are not aware of this stuff will grab her hand and hold on to it. That's smothering behavior, because women are like cats, and it's like when she lets go of you, you have to let her go. And then if you just keep walking like normal, she'll start bumping into you again, maybe after another 100 yards of walking or 50 yards of walking, and then she'll grab your hand again, and then you hold her hand. And if you've ever studied, like an article I wrote, Why Women Prefer to Chase Men, where I talk about observing little girls and how they are with their daddy, how they run around and they stub their knee and then they go sit in their daddy's lap, or when daddy comes home after work, they go jump in his lap and they tell him about the mean boy at school, and they put a bug in her hair at school, and they were chasing each other around the playground, and he's always teasing her and making fun of her. And so she's looking for love and reassurance. She goes to that source of masculine strength, or the mountain, so to speak. And like I talk about in my books, you want to be the mountain. You don't see mountains chasing the wind, because women are more like Mother Nature. Their emotions are in flux always. They come and go as they please, and you can't interfere with that. And so what's happening while your girlfriend is telling you this is because you're interfering in that balance of her coming and going as you please, because you're not aware. You haven't developed your sensory acuity to the point where when a woman takes off and she goes and she interacts with her friends, say you're out together and in a group date, and she's got like 10 of her friends around you, and you're just hanging out, sitting down at a place, and you're sitting with some of her other friends, and she's kind of running around, socializing with everybody. A needy, insecure guy's going to run around after her and want to stand at her side all the time, and then she's going to feel like she can never get away with you. Whereas if you just chill and hang back, shoot the shit with her friends, she'll come back every now and then, maybe sit in your lap, and then she'll go off a little while later and talk to them. But at the end of the night, because she's your girl, you're going to go home together, and she's going to tell you how great you were with her friends and how everybody liked you and how much fun they all had. And this is her way of basically communicating that you passed all of her little tests. But like I said, what you're doing is you're reaching out to her too much, so you want to back off a little bit. The fallback position is always just once a week, call her for a date. So if you're calling her constantly, you've got to look at who initiates the contact, who calls who more, who texts who more, who initiates it. Because the best place to be, if you've done everything right, usually by the second or third week, she's maybe calling and texting you all the time, because you become her source of masculine strength in her life. And so when she becomes unsure of herself or she doubts herself, it's not that you turn into a cold dick or a cold fish and you just completely ignore her. It's just that when she feels that uncertainty about herself, because being uncertain is feminine energy, and so when she's uncertain about herself, that's when she reaches out and says, oh, hey, I was thinking about you, I miss you, I can't wait to see you again. And then you simply acknowledge, oh, hey, baby, it's good to hear from you. I was thinking about you, too. When are you free? When can we get together again? Question mark. Send that. Let her respond. Make a definite date with definite plans, a place to either pick her up at her place or to meet her out somewhere. And then get off the phone. Because when you make a definite date, there's no reason to talk back and forth or send 50 texts back and forth, because it's totally anti-challenge. It totally destroys sexual anticipation. Whereas if you got a definite date and she's thinking about you up until that date, like she reaches out to you when you're at work or something like that, you can't get back to her right away because you're busy. Maybe you're in meetings all day or whatever. But that's what I talk about, because they've got to wonder. And so they get a little insecure about themselves in a moment, and then they reach out to you to gain some security of where they stand with you. And that's when you just simply communicate, of course, baby, I adore you. I was thinking about you. And they get that certainty. You make a date. Or they say, oh, it's great talking. You say, hey, I got to run. I'm stepping out with the boys for tonight. We're going to go out and raise some hell. I can't wait to see you tomorrow night, sweetheart, and kiss those gorgeous lips of yours. Then you say charming things like that, and she'll be giggling and just cooing like a dove, and she'll be telling her girlfriends all the sweet things that you texted back and forth to each other. It's beautiful. That's romance. That's how it's supposed to go. So if you have a question that you want to ask me, or there's a topic you want me to talk about in a future video newsletter, go to my website, Click the Contact Me tab, which is going to be on the left-hand side of your screen. Send me 1 to 2 paragraphs max detailing your questions, your situation, your challenges, and you just got to give me several days to get back to you with a response because I get a lot of email from the internet. I also get a lot of it from my paying phone coaching customers, but be patient and I will get back to you. And if you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. And you can do that by going to my website, and at the top of your screen, just click on the Products tab and follow the instructions. If you want to get a digital version of my Kindle ebook, go to my website, and underneath the email sign-up box will be another box that will have a link to the Amazon Kindle download page for my book. Just click that, and once you get to the Amazon download page, on the right-hand side there'll be a button because you don't have to have a Kindle device to read the Kindle version of my book, because Amazon has been nice enough to create a bunch of free e-reader apps. So whether you got an iPhone or an Android smartphone or tablet, an iPad, a Mac, or a PC, download whatever app for your particular device that you want to read my book on. It takes a matter of seconds to do that. And then a few seconds after that, download my book, which only takes a few seconds, and you'll be reading my book in no time. And I will talk to you soon.